Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Steelers may have revealed part of QB draft plan, analyst. The Pittsburgh Steelers selected quarterback Kenny Pickett after the Pitt signal caller fell to number 20 overall in the 2021 NFL Draft. Could history repeat itself with the Steelers picking Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders? It's at least possible. The Steelers hold the number 21 selection this year, and Sanders has fallen in some mock drafts this spring. But SI on Steelers Noah Strackbine argued the Steelers don't appear interested in the Colorado signal caller. Pittsburgh didn't have their typical brass at the Boulder Pro Day to check out Sanders. So far, there's been no known report that he's headed to the Steelers for a pre-draft visit, and did not hold a formal meeting with him at the NFL Combine, wrote Strackbine. That could mean they aren't spending time scouting a player they do not believe will fall to them, or that they don't want Sanders as an option. Sanders completed 74% of his passes for 4,134 passing yards and 37 touchdowns in 2024. The quarterback also had 3,230 passing yards and 27 touchdowns during 2023. According to the NFL mock draft database, Sanders has remained a top 10 pick in most mock drafts. However, some mocks are predicting Sanders to stay on the board even past the Steelers at number 21 overall. The Steelers weren't completely absent from the Colorado Pro Day on Friday. PennLive.com's Nick Farabaugh reported Pittsburgh area scout Kelvin Fisher was at the Pro Day. But head coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan were not in attendance. Neither was offensive coordinator Arthur Smith or a position coach. Farabaugh agreed with Strackbine that this is a sign the Steelers do not plan to pursue Sanders even if he falls out of the top 10. They could host Sanders for a visit over these next 2 weeks, much like they did for Ole Miss's Jackson Dart, Farabaugh wrote. But it sure seems the team is more interested in the next tier of quarterbacks rather than Sanders, who might not even make it to 21st overall. Tomlin and his team have shown interest in quarterback Jackson Dart. Another domino falls in the worst Pittsburgh Steelers offseason ever. It is no secret that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in desperate need of quarterback help. We are all anxiously awaiting a resolution to the Aaron Rodgers saga. This has led to rampant speculation of how the team will acquire another quarterback. While I personally prefer Mason Rudolph over Rodgers for a variety of reasons, I still realize the need for a better quarterback solution long-term. The ways of acquiring that this year aren't appealing, as the draft is filled with lackluster options to choose from. This makes the recent Joe Milton trade that much more upsetting. After a promising rookie season, albeit with limited action to showcase his ability, Milton was dealt by the Patriots to the Cowboys. Despite rumors swirling that New England wanted a third-round pick for the rookie, he was ultimately dealt alongside a seventh-round pick in exchange for a fifth-round pick. I was higher than most on Milton coming out of the draft last year. The then Tennessee quarterback had every trait that you want in a game-changing quarterback. He has a booming arm and great mobility. So why was he only a sixth-round pick? His mechanics are horrible, which led to accuracy issues. With him being an older prospect, there was real concern that he wouldn't be able to fix any of those issues. In the preseason and his late-season start though, he looked the part of a viable developmental quarterback on a bad Patriots offense. Perfect? Absolutely not, but certainly a player worth gambling on. A third-round pick was a rich asking price, but what he ultimately got moved for was far fairer. Frankly, I'm surprised the Patriots even accepted such a deal, but knowing the fact that they did, why didn't the Steelers offer a similar deal for Milton? It seems like a foregone conclusion that they will be drafting a quarterback this year. Some think that it could be as early as the first round, but more than likely, someone is added in the third or fourth round. The crop of quarterbacks in that range isn't significantly better than Milton. Honestly, I would argue that they are worse and lack the traits to be legitimate franchise passers. Assuming Pittsburgh uses their third or fourth round pick on him, they are essentially spending more on a worse prospect than they would have needed to bring in Milton. For an offseason that has been wildly lackluster, this is just another disappointment to stomach. I understand that more than likely, Milton won't become the next great late-round quarterback, but he has the same odds, if not slightly higher ones, of panning out than will Howard or Jalen Milroe. Considering he would have cost less, it seems mind-boggling that the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't do more to bring in Milton this offseason. Steelers connection could lure Raiders cut to Pittsburgh. If the Pittsburgh Steelers are still in the market for cornerback help, former Las Vegas Raiders CB Jack Jones would profile as a potential fit. On April 6, NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported that the Raiders are releasing CB Jack Jones, sources say, after Las Vegas attempted to trade him. Rappaport added that Jones is an intriguing option for a CB-needy team. Pittsburgh isn't necessarily cornerback needy, but they could still afford to bring in more competition at the position. And it just so happens that there is a clear coaching link that could lure Jones to the Steelers. Per Steelers Now reporter Alan Saunders, Jones played for Pittsburgh Steelers secondary coach Gerald Alexander in 2024. The Steelers could potentially be interested in a reunion between Jones and Alexander, who replaced Grady Brown as the Steelers' secondary coach this offseason, Saunders theorized on April 6. Noting that the 5'11", 175-pound Jones earned the most extensive playing time of his career under Alexander in 2024. Las Vegas started Jones last year, as Saunders alluded, but he was a better rotational player in 2022 and 2023. According to Pro Football Focus, Jones held opposing quarterbacks to a passer rating under 70.0 in each of his first two seasons. Most of that time was spent with the New England Patriots. Jones joined the Raiders midway through the 2023 campaign. After impressing down the stretch, Jones earned a starting job on the outside in 2024. Unfortunately, the higher snap count seemed to expose Jones a bit. He earned the worst coverage grade of his career last season, and his passer rating allowed jumped up to 115.8 despite 3 interceptions and 10 pass breakups. Worst of all was Jones' tackling and his penalties. Per PFF, the former fourth-round talent missed 15 tackles in 2024, at a high rate of 17.4%. He was flagged for 7 penalties. Jones did hold pass catchers to a reception rate of 65.9% last year while also achieving 22 key defensive stops as a tackler, but he allowed a whopping 10 touchdowns in coverage. Perhaps, Jones can get his career back on track with Alexander and the Steelers. The Steelers have already signed 2 veteran cornerbacks in free agency, coming to terms with Darius Slay and Brandon Echols. They also have a collection of recent draft picks and UDFAs, including Joey Porter Jr., Corey Trice Jr. and Beanie Bishop Jr. Throw in staff favorite James Pierre and a couple others, and one could argue that Pittsburgh does not need Jones. Having said that, you never know how much injury insurance you'll end up needing in April. And more competition is never a bad thing. Based on his defensive snap percentages, Jones would likely push Trice for the top backup job on the outside, behind Porter and Slay. Echols has also preferred guarding the boundaries more often than not. But he'll have a better chance of logging impactful snaps in the slot. With more nickel CB experience than both Trice and Jones, Echols could challenge Bishop for the third starting role, creating a very strong training camp competition at the position. One last positive. A Jones addition would eliminate cornerback as a draft need, allowing Pittsburgh to focus on other areas of the roster. Certain draft analysts have predicted that the Steelers would use their first-round selection on a CB. With needs at defensive tackle, running back, quarterback and more, cornerback should not be the priority. And you fan? What do you think about Jack Jones' situation? Write to us in the comments.